Hello, thank you so much for clicking this video. It means a lot that you decided to be here with us today. Firstly, if you're female identifying and you break, thank you especially. You could have done bouldering, pole dancing, rollerblading, or DJing, but instead you decided to be here with us. Thank you. So I actually have a gift for you. One moment. Here you go. I got these for you. There you go, I'll give these to you. Okay, class, today we're going to do an overview of the very rapid evolution of women's breaking over the past 7 to 8 years. We've had B-girls quit their corporate jobs to pursue dreams, to motherhood, to dyeing their hair pink. I want to show you what the hell has been going on in the women's side of breaking, because I think it's been pretty fucking cool. So I have a handful of case studies today to help with my explanation. We have Yasmin, Kastet, Logistics, this is Mad Max, and then this is Mims. We will be sort of glossing over everyone, but I think I'll specifically be talking about Yasmin and Kastet the most in this scenario. So what I really want to do is I really want to figure out what the fuck happened in the last 6 to 7 years to make us go from this to this. It seemed like one day I just closed my eyes and then I opened them again and every B-girl in the world was just like fucking amazing. So I think there's a few things we can consider, a few sort of factors and some ideas that we can look at and some sort of learnings that we can draw from their experiences and their growth. Before anything, let's look at some prehistoric footage. I want to show you where the hell we're starting from. Apologies for the crappy FPS drops, by the way, because the MacBook I've been using has been the same MacBook for the past 6 to 7 years as well. My MacBook is as old as this goddamn footage, so I apologize if there's any frame rate drops. Okay, pretty nice styles, some hand styles there. Okay. Nice, kind of some flaves, but her outfit is pretty trash to say the least. This is a pretty ugly fit, I'm not gonna lie. These pants are not it. Cool, pretty musical. Nice tech. Okay, that was more on the athletic side. Lots of speed, lots of agility. Maybe you could say that it was a little bit rushed and a little bit tense, but it's not bad. Okay, so I think that footage was like relatively decent, but when you compare it to who Yasmin was last year and her performance at Red Bull 2024, the same performance that made the whole world fall in love with her, you can tell that it's night and day. The difference is outstanding, and 2024 Yasmin absolutely shits on Yasmin 2016. So let's continue. Oh my gosh. Beautiful stage presence. Can tell that she's holding her shapes a little bit stronger. Oh my god. Yeah. So it's kind of same in principle, but evolved so much more. Yeah. A little bit more dynamic, but to say the very least, you can tell that her understanding of music has increased tenfold and her style has been elevated to like the heavens. I want to find this moment as well where she did the little like kick thing. Everyone remembers this moment as well. Bing. See ya. Confidence maxed out. For me, I find it actually kind of hard to comprehend. If you just see the two clips side by side, you would have no idea that they were actually the same person. Let's do the same thing with Kastet as well and see what Kastet was up to a few years ago as well in 2018. Cool, pretty swaggy. Nice form, really, really good footwork form here. Nice. Kind of dressed like a dude though. More of a masculine approach to movement. That was really good tech. Decent speed as well. Interesting. I wouldn't say that there was a crazy amount of depth there in terms of character and understanding of movement, music, and style, but I think it was okay. And I think you can see that the foundation of breaking was very present in Kastet. It is very much not near where she is today. So all I'm really trying to do today is explain how the hell we went from that to this. Okay. This wasn't even this year. This was like 2024, late 2023, I think. Night and day. Again, you can't even tell that it's the same person. Yeah, real beautiful elevation. I think the thing about this is like, I think most breakers can evolve in this amount of time. I think many breakers were like decent in 2016 and probably got a bit better in 2024. Some breakers were a shadow of themselves back then, but I just feel like the difference between all of these Bgirls is really fucking amazing. The difference in artistic approach and expression is incomprehensible. And I think there's a couple of things that we can say here and a couple of things that sort of leave behind clues as to what they could have done to elevate their style to such high degrees. So we're still in the 2016 to 2018 era. Let's flash forward a year from Yasmin's 2016 freestyle session run to her win at the Battle of the Year 2017 Japan qualifier with her 2v2 partner Miju. Been trying for 10 years and had already entered a shitload. Very, very interesting and reveals what Yasmin cared about the most at this stage of her life. The competition. Savage. So it's worth noting that Yasmin had already been trying to just make herself known within the global scene for 6, 7, 8 years before any breakthrough. And this breakthrough, I feel like, is sort of elementary compared to her breakthrough as of recent. She won the jams, made it international after 10 plus years of grueling work. And what the hell did she do after? She fucking quit. She quit. So after her run, I think it's safe to say that Yasmin took a pause from competitive breaking to come back to hip-hop dance's origins, the fucking party. She leaves the scene as a champion and comes back as an artist, a hero, and a human being. Observe. So this is footage of Yasmin at a freestyle battle in Japan. That's PLAPS 2020. It is 3 years after her win at Battle of the Year, but you can kind of guess that in those 3 years, she sort of learned a new freestyle dance approach, tried something new, tried to reinvent herself, tried to discover new music, and tried to think of a new style and way to do dance. I think this is a side of Yasmin that maybe a lot of people miss. I don't think many people know that she actually departed from breaking for a bit to try this new approach of freestyle dance. A little bit of footwork, no goddamn freeze, no goddamn power moves. Well, the power moves is her dancing, so there we go. It's crazy how just switching your environment, even just changing the music that you dance to, sort of brings out a whole new side of you. 2020, keep that in mind. At the same time, connecting with Mims. Mims spent a bit of time in LA, got down with BGSK as well, Bgirls, and I think they sort of influence each other here as well. I feel like Mims sort of brought back that LA concrete style, got in touch with Yasmin, and I guess probably shared a lot with Yasmin as well. This here is footage of Yasmin at Sellout, which is another freestyle dance battle in Japan as well. Sort of the transitionary period from 2017 to the Yasmin that we all know today. Copyright strike for sure. Bang. Reconnecting with the roots of the dance, reconnecting with music, reconnecting with the art of expression, reconnecting with motherfucking hip-hop. Tell me something more hip-hop than a fucking blunt and a fucking DJ deck. It's a CDJ, but you know, same shit. Blunts, music, power. So Yasmin was hip-hop before she even knew what hip-hop was, okay? She rediscovered her roots, rediscovered her love for music through her dad, who is a black musician, living in Japan, which I think is pretty sick. And I think it's just these things, going back in time, rediscovering the love for music, rediscovering the love for culture, stepping away from the competition and getting to the root of the dance, which is the party, kind of brought something out of Yasmin that we never would have seen coming. This is step one in the equation. Find your roots. Go back to who you were before any of this competition shit begun. This is not just with Yasmin. This is just Yasmin's approach to finding out who she was. I think most of the Bgirls that I mentioned in the beginning sort of went through their own personal journey to find out who they were before they started dancing. This here is an interview from Breakers Mag out in France. It is an interview with Kastet that was published maybe 4 months ago. It has 500 views, which is absolutely horrendous for a video like this. This type of journalism here deserves way more attention, so I would love for you guys to go watch this interview as well. I'm only going to be taking snippets from the interview to sort of support my case here. Already you can see, just by looking at the goddamn apartment, you can tell who Kastet was before she started breaking. She was an artist, a fine artist. Look, painting here, painting here, painting here, painting here, graphic there, artful bookcase here, goddamn rainbow, bass guitar. So Kastet was into music too. I think she started playing bass after breaking, but you get the point.
And my parents, they met each other at art university, which actually I finished after them. So I went to the same university where graduated my parents.
Okay.
And it was the same faculties about fine arts and academic drawing.
It looks like to me that she sort of dipped into her background as an artist, fine artist, to sort of inspire the next level of her dance. Let's see what else she has to say.
Like
I
super
think
random style.
Step up style.
Okay, step up style.
Actually, I went because I watched Step Up and Channing Tatum, and I was like, yes, I wanna dance again.
Step up,
So when
reach the hearts of
my
millions,
father
guys.
find the studio. Always active kid, and my parents asked me, what you wanna do? And I say, I wanna dance because I was always moving like this. Always tell me, like, okay, now you're gonna do 100 push-ups. And you know, it was always environment in my family. They put me something to paint. Father say, okay, who can do more? And he asked me to do 100 in front of my granddad. And I did 100 in age of 5. It's crazy.
Kastet sort of discusses her desire to just dance and express herself since time. You can tell that she always had this sort of energy, this artfulness since day dot. And I think breaking was just sort of an excuse for her to showcase that to the world as best as she could. So here we can sort of see that Yasmin went back to her roots. Kastet was always in her roots as a fine artist. However, not all of us are blessed to have such fucking cool parents. My parents were not artists. My parents were not musicians. So what can you do? If you're not blessed to be born in such an artful, cool family, and maybe you hate your past and the person that you were, you don't like your family, you don't like your roots, that's okay. Not everything has to be perfect. Look outwards, okay? Give the world a taste of how you feel about it. There is so much cool shit today that we can enjoy. There's actually maybe even an oversaturation of a lot of cool art that we can consume, a lot of cool clothes that we can wear, a lot of cool games that we can play, a lot of cool styles of dance that we can do. Partaking in culture and enjoying art has never been easier. It's a curse, but it's also a blessing. My stance on trends going forward, I think, is that I believe that trends are just an excuse for you to find your own style and your own authentic approach to living life. It can be in fashion, it can be in the music that you listen to, the games that you play, or the books that you read. You wear a million different outfits. One of those outfits surely has to feel like something that actually belongs and resonates with you. Mad Max wasn't the first to have this new style of punk swag. I think a lot of the Bgirls in Brazil were doing this shit from day dot two. But like there's a million different Bgirls out there, so I have to be pretty specific with the people that I choose in these videos. I think I can say with confidence that women back in those days in 2014 dressed like absolute garbage. Vans, tight jeans, bad proportions, bad color theory, just a bad understanding of artful expression in fashion. I close my eyes, suddenly TikTok happens, suddenly Depop happens, and every girl that I know dresses like this. What the actual fuck? So I felt like every single woman around the world suddenly knew how to dress, and it just happened to be that some of these people were Bgirls. Epic. And I quite like that Bgirls actually trying to switch from trend to trend to trend in a fashion sense. I think it's important to switch between styles so that you actually get a better understanding of what you like. Each different phase of fashion, clothing, breaking has a different piece that you can pick from and add to who you are as a person. You can actually take pieces from parts of the world as they come and make them yours. There is a popular fashion YouTuber that I love to watch named Bliss Foster, and he says a lot of really good things about culture and fashion in culture. I'm going to go ahead and insert this clip of a video that he did on subculture like many years ago, and I think it sort of paints a good picture as to where we are now.
And by contrast, now we have this option to switch between subcultures almost instantaneously. I mean, you could moderate a subreddit for the Canadian punk scene while posting every day to a dark web death grips forum, while being a massive Twitter advocate for a Marxist political candidate in Alaska, all while watching 24-hour news coverage of Formula One racing. Then that same kid could get up, put on a Nike tracksuit, and go to their high school where they play football and never talk to their friends about their actual interests. In a couple of months' time, that kid could live 4 or 5 lifetimes worth of subcultural commitment just hanging out in their bedroom.
I know I'm talking about fashion a lot here, but I do feel like, fashion is like an element of hip hop, So we can't deny that sort of people enjoying new fashion styles influences their breaking. I feel like the difference between B-girls and B-boys is that B-girls got way more to choose from as opposed to B-boys. How does this come back to breaking? I think this sort of just comes back to filtering out who you are as a person. You kind of understand what you like, and then this sort of shows in how you express yourself within dance. And I think we can sort of explain the divide in expression in this graphic here. I would say that the trend for men's fashion and men's expression is trending towards a stark, brutal, sharp minimalism, whereas for women, I think it's more or less the exact opposite. It looks like women are actually moving closer towards color, expression, aesthetics, pleasure in their form of expression. And nowadays, it looks like a lot of the guys suppress their character in order to express a higher level of skill, movement, and just expertise in dance. Whereas for women, I feel like it was not necessarily the opposite of that as well, but it felt like women sort of were able to get a better grasp of their character instead of suppressing it. You enter the scene as a more or less complete woman, and then you sort of learn the aspects of breaking, which are masculine. You learn how to battle. You learn the ferocious attitude you need to win a battle and do well in competitions. You need to learn the physical strength and the actual skills of the moves. And then you also have to learn the discipline needed to get better at craft. So you move further down to the end of the spectrum here. But then once you discover the skills, the techniques, once you understand the basic foundations and what you need in order to move forward and express your style, then you have as much freedom as you want to move between the two. Okay? In my opinion, I feel like the women of our scene have a lot more freedom to move between masculine and feminine expression. However, I would argue that men enter the scene here, explore all of this. So I think the embedded homophobia in our scene sort of stops a lot of men from progressing anything past this point. Okay, so your expression as a man is limited to what society expects of you, which is kind of ironic considering that most of society considers dance to be a feminine artistic practice. And shout out to the handful of non-binary breakers out there who are able to easily flow through these two states however the fuck they want. Hell yeah. I think as a woman, your existence in society is never not political. Here I have Talash at the 2024 Olympics last year, and the slogan, as you can see on the back of her garment, says "Free Afghan Women." Women around the world are still needing some sort of liberation, some sort of freedom, and some sort of ability to express their true selves. Women always have to question their place in society. They always have to consider how they can carve out a place in the world for themselves while having to deal with misogyny, having to deal with prejudice, not only in breaking, but in every aspect of society, in work, at the gym, in social circles. It's rather complex, and I feel like women generally have a better understanding of their political existence. When you are feminine and you choose to break, you are destroying society's expectations of you. So what exactly is there to hide from? I think this is a key component as to why women end up finding themselves more convincingly than men, because they always have to combat their position in patriarchal society. These are the factors that we can sort of consider and sort of use to explain why I think women are generally better expressing themselves, not only in breaking, but just in general. So we have an explanation of the mind and soul, but guys, what about the motherfucking breakdance? Because that's what we're all here for, right? Okay, so when the Olympics dropped, look, everyone and their mum got at least a little bit of resources, a little bit of funding to hire out some facilities to train even harder. Across the world, most nations got some decent resources, some decent coaching at least, and additionally, a general motivation to strive for excellence, okay? In my opinion, when it comes to breaking in the Olympics, I feel like you are lying to yourself if you didn't imagine yourself on that stage for at least a split second. Everybody at least took a minute of time to think about what it could have meant for them to be on that stage, to do their community, city, and nation proud. So going back to all of this, we have the stars, we have the fashion. One day I wake up and every woman dresses like shit. I close my eyes, I open them again, and suddenly every woman dresses like a fucking god, but they don't have any air flares. Suddenly I close my eyes again, women dress well, but they don't have air flares. I wake up, the Olympics drops, suddenly every woman dresses fucking amazing and has air flares. You get an air flare, you get an air flare, you get an air flare, and now we have everything we ever wished for. We have Bgirls who are super fucking beast mode athletic, and we also have Bgirls who are super fucking beast mode stylish, which, surprise, I don't think was even up for consideration before. I think to master all of this within the span of a few years is absolutely spectacular. And so, class, to wrap things up, I sort of leave you with this final equation, okay? In order to go from here to here, consider discovering your roots, consider enjoying the cultures of the world, and consider coming to terms with your political existence and what it means for your art. If you take all of this and you put it to the power of the Olympics, not even the Olympics, okay? It can just be a sort of passion for excellence. You get, on the other side, a literal dragon. Beautiful. When it comes to discovering your roots, for Yasmin, it was discovering her black roots and discovering the root of dance, which is the party. For Kastet, it was about discovering her roots as a fine artist. For logistics, it was about discovering her roots of being a Filipina, centering her health, and sort of rediscovering her divine feminine energy. Enjoying the cultures of the world means enjoying new trends, using all the treasures of the world to add to your own personality and sort of use it to calculate your own personal style, which is what we saw Mad Max, Mims, and Wanda do. And then lastly, coming to terms with your own political existence, constantly questioning who you are in society, what you can do for your own community, and how you can contribute to the world in Talash. Okay, class, I know we're running over time. I know it's almost time for lunch, but I know I always have to reference this cultural mirror that we always like to reflect ourselves with, okay? This year, I have Sophie Royer and Miss World Melody featuring Peanut Butter Wolf, published by Stones Throw Records out of LA. Funnily enough, which is where Mims and Wanda spend a lot of time. This was done 4 years ago and is a cover of original song by +2. And to me, this is what the current state of women's breaking feels like. class, before I forget, I've left in the description a handful of Instagram accounts of some Bgirls that are doing really cool shit, so go check those out as well, okay? Thanks.